Hey everybody, it's time for an album in review on Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I do this every Friday afternoon where I take a classic album, sort of go through it and talk about what's good about it. And, I wouldn't be talking about these albums if they weren't bands that I loved. So today is no exception. It is actually the birthday of one of the most amazing, most innovative guitar players of all time. There aren't many rock and roll guitar players you can refer to as Doctor, but you can refer to Dr. Brian May. Brian's celebrating a birthday today, so I thought we'd go all the way back to 1973 and talk about the debut album from Queen. Classic logo there. Fun picture collage on the back of this. This is the Canadian edition on Elektra Records. The first thing anyone heard from this was the first song on the album and the first single. One of my favorites, Keep Yourself Alive. This is a 40th anniversary reissue of the original Portuguese 7-inch sleeve. I think that my buddy Matt Phillips got this for me as a record store day thing, back when that kind of meant something and there was only one per year. But yeah, this is what one of the original sleeves looked like. Classic photo of the band. This has another great song from the album, a heavy one, Son and Daughter. Some of the early Queen songs, you might be surprised at how heavy they are, because stylistically they were all over the place, of course. And right from the beginning, Queen were pros. This album was basically recorded at night, recorded in between hours at Trident Studios when someone else wasn't recording. And it does not sound like a debut album. It sounds like a fully formed band ready to take on the world. Now, this album was not a huge seller compared to what would come later. I think the album is still only at gold in the US, which is kind of a shame. But any way that you can get this album, you should, if you've only got a couple of Queen hits compilations. It's just full of great songs. Great King Rat is another heavy one. Obviously, Liar, that's another well-known song here. Modern Times Rock and Roll is sort of a early run through of what would become Stone Cold Crazy. It's a really fast, heavy one. And oddly enough, the last song on this album is a title that a lot of you will recognize, Seven Seas of Rhye. That was one of their first big hits internationally. It wasn't a hit in North America, but it was a hit in the UK. Although the version that appears on this first album is, I think it's about a minute and a half, and it's just instrumental. So it kind of teased what would come in just a few months on the Queen 2 album. But for today, I'm shining a light on one of the best debuts of all time, one of the most accomplished debuts of all time, the debut album from Queen, 1973. Thanks everybody for watching this edition of an album review. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already.